Out of nowhere, a flash lit up the sky. And when I blinked, I was floating over a magical world called Cefiro, along with Umi and Fu, two girls I had just met. Then, a boy named Clef told us of our destiny as magic knights. I'm confused but excited.
Hikaru isn't the only one who can keep a diary. I decided to keep one too. That way, everything won't be filtered by her alone if someone ends up reading about this weird trip we're on.
Hikaru's leadership has inspired me to keep a journal of this adventure. I thought I would write down some basic observations about this world they call Cefiro, but it seems like I don't have enough room here to write enough to matter. Oh well, perhaps later.
Another strange thing happened. This evil woman named Alcyone attacked us, and when I went to attack her, I suddenly had command of this fiery magic blast. I was surprised, but I think Alcyone was blown away, literally. Anyway, I worry about Clef. But like Fu said, we have to keep moving forward, for Clef's sake.
Hikaru somehow called up a kind of fire magic and defeated an evil woman who was after us. It was very cool, and I'm kind of jealous. I wonder if I'll ever get something like that. If only Hikaru got magic, it wouldn't be fair.
Hikaru used a sort of flaming elemental blast to dispose of a woman who attacked Clef and then sought to destroy us. I wonder how the fire magic actually works. Oh well, this world is full of mysteries.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Magic Knight Rayearth. Just some things to tie up with the Super Nintendo version before we fully dive in back into the Sega Saturn version, and that is towns. You see, with this version you actually are able to roam around in order to try and find Precia's house, whereas in the Sega Saturn's case it's not. And what I will say about towns in the Super Nintendo version is that they're not all that great. They're pretty minimalistic and just have a couple of people to talk to, but the only real reason why you're here is to pretty much buy items and have a save place at the moment. Her eyes look really devilish, I will just say that. They're evil, red, and burning. However, this town has like two interesting pieces of dialogue. One is the fact that we're close to the Forest of Silence, which means that magic doesn't really work here, and that's why the griffin disappeared, because it was a summon magic. The other one is, not with this old man. There's a lot of old men around in towns, but it's with this old lady who's up in the alleyway up here. She just gives an interesting piece of advice in order to actually continue on in terms of the world map. We can't get any further until we find weapons made of escudo. But that will be for, well, a little bit. And I think in most villages there is at least one guy who is, an alcoholic, which is always... It's always good to have a spinning guy who is either suffering from withdrawal or just wants a drink. But yes, shopkeepers, like this guy who has lots of energy. At this point, we are not able to do anything with the shopkeeper, but if you return here after talking with Precia and getting all equipped, then you're actually able to do something with him. But first you get force pushed, because we don't know what money is. But of course, with standard JRPGs, money comes from defeating enemies, so we do have money and we're able to actually do business with him. A little bit later, though, of course. And that's pretty much what towns are. The other people who are in towns pretty much are of no consequence whatsoever and have just dialogue that is really pointless. So now it's finally time to find Precia's house. It's pretty much the only place that you're able to go in this area. There's a couple of other places that you can kind of go to, but you will be blocked off. For instance, there is the Southern Bridge, there's an area that we're going to later. So, that's pretty much why I've not been going and exploring around the world map. Because you have blockades in your way, Or in the case of the first area, it's one huge gigantic island that you can't do anything on other than going into the place that you're supposed to. However, in terms of this area in the game, there's one thing that you should be doing, and that's quickly leveling up. And the best way of doing that is actually with these enemies right here, the cockatrices. It does take a while in order to take care of them because, well, you don't have the necessary equipment in order to do it really quickly. But if you go ahead and just punch them for a little while, it's pretty worthwhile. Plus, they don't do a lot of damage to you either, so it's not like you're going to be under-leveled or anything like that. But once you do finally take them out, you get 100 experience points apiece, which is really good this early on in the game. So you can just get a couple of levels really quickly. But other than that, there's really no other reason for being around other than just going straight for Perseus' house. So unless something else is going to come up that is really important that I should talk about with the Super Nintendo version, it's mainly going to be in the background, and we'll just take care of the Sega Saturn version for the majority of the LP. So I'll see you there. And so we're back, and we finally have control of all three girls. And they follow behind you. It's kind of silly how the pathfinding works in terms of the other two following behind you, but it's a little bit silly. Now, we've already seen the diary entries for this point of the game, but the other thing that we can do now is actually consult Clef. You can do this a lot, actually, in this game. Pretty much after every important point or in-between points, he usually has something to say. Whether or not that something to say is actually important, that's left up to debate. A lot of the times it's kind of just useless and kind of just fun dialogue for you to listen. Or read, anyways. Because not everything is voice acted. This first little bit is pretty much just saying that Clef is not always gonna help you. He's pretty confident in you being able to figure out what you're supposed to be doing. I also wonder why it's Umi that is actually talking to him, but I guess she's the forward one. And yeah, he's not helpful. But we only have really one path to go on since our fight with Alcyone, so we might as well head on that way. And now we can just flip through each of the portraits here to see what each are equipped with. Hikaru's the only one with magic, but that'll soon change.
Hello? Anybody home?
It seems as if no one is at home right now.
Perhaps this isn't even Perseus' house.
Did you see that? The door just opened.
What kind of person leaves their home unlocked? It's not safe.
Well, let's not waste time just talking about it.
You mean go into the house? Isn't that bad manners?
Okay, fine. You stay out here with your manners and the monsters, and we'll go in.
Excuse me? Still don't know what that voice specifically is. But now we can just kind of freely roam the house, uninvited. And one thing you're able to do is actually control each of the girls on the fly. Just hitting either the L or R buttons, you're able to just switch between them, which is good in terms of the action that we're going to get into hopefully soon. But the other thing is that when examining objects, if you just switch between the characters, each of them has something different to say about each object that you're able to examine. Now, I will say that there is an absolute ridiculous amount of objects that you're able to interact with, just for flavor text alone. So, I'm not going to take advantage of this because that would take way too long in order to get through all of that. but it's just really nice attention to detail that I really like. It just kind of shows that, especially when you see, like, examining things like this canon here, each of the girls is written differently in terms of, like, their specific personality. So it's just kind of good script writing, in my mind. So, specific things, if I find that are able to be examined, then I will just take a look at them. But anyway, we are in an armory. Plenty of weapons that we should just take so we're ready to go. But there is this one area up here in the center with a big red jewel on it. It's interesting. It might be the bathroom because it's... we haven't found one yet. But we can't do anything with it, unfortunately. But it seems interesting, so I want to know what it does. Oh well. Alright, one last door, I guess, to go through. For a mansion, this is not very big. Hello? Okay. Highly doubt it, but, now we have something different to deal with. This seems a lot better. Except for the problem that we are dealing with now. I wonder why you have a cage in this specific room of all places. She must get a lot of thief issues if she's easily jumping to conclusions. We technically haven't stolen anything, so we're kind of failing thieves, if we're going with that still. But then again, there's this guy here. Hardly, especially with a voice like that. Yeah, maybe you should have asked how you got in if you were thieves. And she seems surprised by this, so she doesn't get a lot of thieves? You think you'd know all the ways in and out of your house, especially when it's magically protected.
Magic Knights, it is my duty to welcome you here. Oh, and by the way, my name is Precia. I'm the senior commander here on Cefiro.
I'm just gonna say right now that I do not care for Precia's voice actor, but then again she has Makona with her. And yes, our little friend here is the Makona that Clef spoke about. Now I'm thinking about it, with the Super Nintendo version, it goes into a little bit more detail and more is inclined with the show, because the cage was originally meant for Makona, because he is a scoundrel and a mischief maker. So we were just kind of caught in it instead. Oh well, let's go ahead and find Prisia. Or follow her anyways. We lost her in this house of 3 rooms. But I guess if we were going to have a cage in this area, there would be a lot of interesting books and knowledge. But I doubt that's what thieves would be interested in, unless they're magic thieves. I guess in terms of examining objects, I'll just try my best in order to make them fit the correct character, in order to just look at them. But objects that can be examined can be anything between like a kitchen sink and an armoire or a cupboard. So I can only do it so much. Yeah, Prisia is pretty much known as a creator, and in terms of that, it's a weapons creator. The best there is. And I love her face here, because it's just like, oh really? Where did you, huh? Oh, you're kidding, right? Now, another thing about payment is, in the Super Nintendo version, because we have candy in our inventory, we give a piece of candy to Prisia. So we lose a candy here, which is also tied with the show as well. Yes, we can't punch like we can in the Super Nintendo version, so we do need some weapons in order to actually get through our first instance of actually fighting in this game. And then we'll get our actual weapons. The term aura weapons here as well, it's kind of a term that is used in order to, like, name the weapons that grow with the user. But the issue is that the term aura weapons doesn't really stick. So it's just kind of a placeholder. I think let's just focus one at a time here in terms of our goals. We need weapons before we can even begin to search for the machines. And before we even have the weapons, we need the materials for it. Possibly, yeah. She's not worried at all. Probably about 12 monsters. Like, I don't know what a few means. Cefiro, the world with high expectations. I really like all of the different interesting facts that each of the girls presents about themselves in order to choose their weapons. Because it actually plays a part in the show. At least not until a lot later, but it's still kind of important. So I really like that.
Clef? And Precia's
And then all of a sudden this happens.
Mysterious Cefiro Lecture number 1.
I don't know how to feel about this.
You have accomplished the first objective of your journey. Makona is in your party.
It is foretold that Makona will be no end of help to the Magic Knights.
You should already know to press Start in order to access the command menu.
And there you can use items that Makona is holding for you and change various settings.
The most important command to remember is illustrated diary writing.
Use it often and you will have many wonderful memories of your adventures. You now know the basics. Time to end the session and return to the game. Have fun!
See you later, kids.
So those tutorial sections just come out of nowhere and just kind of hit you in the face. And they're not really necessarily helpful. Because that was just, hey, you can open the menu with the start button. That was pretty much it. You can save, you can look at your items. And, Jesus. Like, it's also just a drastic shift in tone from everything that's going on. It's just like, hey there, kids! What did I just do there? Anyway, it's time to not die in the Forest of Silence. We are totally ready for this. Aren't we, you guys? Fu? Umi? I can see them back there. They're kind of stuck in the wall. Oh boy. Alright, so at this point, also, pretty much our path just completely changed. So where are we supposed to go? West or east? Well, I'm just going to tell you right now, we're supposed to go west, because east, we can't go to yet. It's blocked off. But now we have our weapons. Or at least our weapons for loan. Aren't you proud of us, Clef? No? Okay. But yes, it is time to head west into the Forest of Silence and get our first... Fu. Come on, Fu. And get our first taste of actual action in this game. I will see you next time, everyone.